forward, and this is perhaps my favorite topic, and I'm not allowed to say this, but I love dogs, and and that's why I'm really looking forward to this talk. So, without further ado, let me introduce our next speaker to you, Ms. Soha Kulkarni. So, have you guys ever owned a pet? It's a simple question. Maybe you can give me like a yes or no answer in the poll below that'll appear on your screen. So, have you guys ever owned a pet? Well, some say yes. Wow, it's a 50-50. Amazing. Well, in my opinion, you can never really own a pet. You're always owned by a pet. So, because once you get a pet home, everything about you becomes about, the pet. And pets only speak to those who know how to listen, and they are humanizing. They remind us that we have an obligation and responsibility to preserve, nurture, and care for all life, all kinds of life. So it becomes more important for us to communicate with our pets, and which is exactly why we have our next speaker with us, who is a dog whisperer, and that's how she likes to be addressed. But apart from that, she's a TV media professional and the founder of So Petrified. One can rightly call her a telepathic animal and nature communicator, to be very honest. And she has had many clients ranging from pet dogs to African parrots. So, and her clients have a very specific demand of giving feedback. So, we are all exhilarated to learn more about her journey and the techniques she uses. Welcome to TEDx ICT Mumbai, ma'am. Over to you.
Have you ever sat down before a plant and spent time with it? Did you feel the need to know why a plant at home has suddenly stopped growing or withered away all of a sudden? Did you ever wonder why your neighbor's dog magically just stopped barking after you looked at him once? Have you felt emotional while watching the sunset? Or extremely elated by just walking on the beach? Then you must have wondered why these things are happening to you. The answer to these questions is nature has been communicating with you. And you have been reacting to it subconsciously. We humans are such complex beings. We have the ability to fly to the moon and back, but we lack patience and introspection that helps us calm down and be present. Whereas, on the other hand, there's flora, fauna, birds, breeze, soil, water, who are constantly saying something to us. They just want us to stay calm and listen to them. It may sound absurd to those who think this is beyond logic, but telepathic communication is that practice which can open a whole new world of questions and answers between you and nature. What is telepathy? A friend you have been wanting to call suddenly sends you a text asking you, how have you been? That's telepathy. Telepathy is the ability to see what is in someone else's mind, to connect with them mentally without using words or any physical signals. The word telepathy itself is made up of two terms. Tele, like telephone, meaning hearing over a distance. And pathy, that is empathy, meaning feeling someone else's emotions or energies. So telepathy literally means distance feeling. I'm Soha Kulkarni. I'm a telepathic pet communicator. Through my pet communication company, So Petrified, pet parents get in touch with me to solve their issues regarding their pets. These issues can be behavioral or emotional, or even issues like, why has my dog suddenly become aggressive towards me? My telepathic communication journey began a few years back after my 18-year-old dog passed away. I was devastated. It took time to deal with the loss of a loved one who was subconsciously guiding me through my difficult and happy times. It was almost like she understood me. Little did I know that I was actually telepathically communicating with her even after she had passed away. So, how does telepathic communication actually work? It is a mind to mind connect where the communicator need not meet the animal in person. Just a picture of the pet and his name is enough to telepathically dial in till the pet answers his telepathic cell phone, and then we're connected. No network issues, no battery running out. It's actually the best form of communication. You will be surprised how eager your pet is to make you understand your problem and resolve it as soon as possible. Let me give you an example. Zoe, a 7-year-old cat, had completely given up on food for almost a week. Her human was worried and wanted to know why Zoe was so disinterested in her food, which she loved earlier. After a communication session with Zoe, she revealed that her human was going through a rough patch and he was the one feeling less loved. So Zoe thought that if she shared that energy with him, she will make him feel much better. Thus Zoe was taking on the energy which her human emitted. So here's the best part about telepathic communication. We can all telepathically connect with anyone and everyone in nature. Birds, trees, animals, even a cockroach. But if we listen to them, they actually show us a mirror and they actually help you understand what is right and wrong. Nature actually helps us understand who we really are and what our purpose in life is. The secret is to be humble and receptive and to allow animals to teach you. Telepathy is that ability we're all born with. Unfortunately, we're socialized out of it as we develop speech. So here's one more example. 5-year-old dog Sandy had started nudging his human every time she lay on the bed. He would come to her and nudge her at her tummy. The situation worsened when Sandy started sitting on her stomach and growling at her every time she tried to push him away. The human was completely perplexed and wanted to know what was wrong with him. Is he hungry? Does he want to tell me something? After a few communication sessions with Sandy, he shared his fears with me. So Sandy shared his fears with me. He indicated a burning sensation around the human's stomach. He was sure that every time he sat on the stomach, that comforted the human with his warmth. He wanted his human to be alert and he wanted her not to ignore medication. So I conveyed this to his human and she replied, "I'm perfectly fine and I don't have any medical issues. I'm sure it's some misunderstanding from your end." It was rather awkward, so I confronted Sandy again. "Why the hell would you embarrass me like this, Sandy? I mean, your human says she's perfectly fine. Is there something else you want to tell me?" Sandy replied, "Yes. My human has been ignoring her health issues for a long time because she's scared. She needs to get her body examined." Sandy's human completely shut off after this session. She was confident that Sandy was the one to be disciplined. Months later, Sandy's human called me, confiding in me that a while ago she got a couple of scans done because she had some issues with her digestive system. She was told that a tumor was detected in her abdomen. She was glad that she got to know this soon, otherwise things would have been worse. Sandy was the one who made her realize that she was the one who was ailing. We humans carry ego on our shoulders. We compare, we assume, and then we end up getting disappointed and disgusted. In short, we are terrible when it comes to listening and understanding other beings. I would like to share a recent lost pet case that took place during this pandemic lockdown. Barfi, a 2-year-old indie dog, just left his house one night and refused to return. After a few communication sessions with Barfi, he replied he didn't want to go back home. Now the thing is, it's rather awkward to explain this to the family who is now frantically looking for their pet. How the hell would I tell them that Barfi wants a break from you? Burfi wanted them to sort out their internal issues. He wanted one of the humans to move on, just the way he did. Animals are the ones who are constantly guiding us and giving us a direction. Unlike us humans, animals are pure souls. So it's easy to connect with them. They have no hatred, malice, or envy. All they want to do is show us a mirror so that we stay grounded and humble. So next time your pet misbehaves or a plant gives up on you, ask them what is wrong. You will be surprised with the reply you get. Maybe that's the answer you were looking for to solve your own issues.
Thank you so much, TEDx ICT Mumbai, for this opportunity. And thank you all. Hope you found this talk interesting and insightful.
Hello, Soha ma'am. How are you?
Hi, hello.
How are
I'm
you
good.
doing this evening?
Good, good.
Wow, your talk was, honestly amazing. We used to have parrots at home when I was younger, and then we also
Okay.
had a dog at one point. But I never knew I could speak to my pet. It was my grandfather's dog, but still, I never knew I could speak to my pet, and I wish I could sort of, inculcate um, superpower in me. So, speaking
No,
of
you
superpowers,
can still talk to your dog.
yes,
Even after
absolutely.
you pass away, you can still connect with them.
Maybe next time I'll try to speak to the neighbor's dog because I
Yes.
don't have one of my own right now. So we have a couple of questions for you based on your choices and also your profession. So one of the most upvoted questions is after speaking to so many pets, what do you think are the pets' perception of what their favorite humans are? What kind of favorite humans are for them? So I think I'm going to rephrase that question. Essentially, do pets have a favorite human being? And if yes, what is that type? So, we can improve ourselves. Yeah.
Okay. So this thing about being someone's favorite, or basically following that entire competitive
Yes.
race that I want to be the favorite one is a human tendency. So
Right.
animals don't have that at all. Mostly the clients ask me this question a lot, that am I the favorite one? But animals don't have that. Animals or even nature, this kind of discrimination they don't do. So
Okay.
favorite is not something which, I mean, they are so open. They just accept whatever is there in front of them. It's a
Absolutely.
very human tendency to keep favorites
Yeah.
or even
Understood.
enemies.
Understood. So we have another interesting question. So how you must be one of the few dog whisperers in the country, right? Or is there a whole profession going around it? And if yes, then how does one follow it? And why have you not chosen that as your main profession? So that is one of the questions that people want to know.
Have
Okay, I think yes, we found you again. Sorry, it was
so so basically there are about I mean more than 100 animal communicators in India at least.
okay.
I'm sure there are more.
Okay.
We also have a WhatsApp group where we, sometimes if there's a case which comes in which we want other communicators to help us, we
Huh.
kind of share those pictures with them, and they kind of, so we it's like one community. It's like one happy community, and it's just growing day by day.
Okay.
So
Wonderful.
there are people who actually teach this skill, because as I mentioned in the video that each one of us has the ability to telepathically communicate with nature. So there are courses. I have done a few courses. So I guess you can just find out, and just hop on, and maybe you'll be a part of that WhatsApp group also.
Absolutely. I think we'll also connect with you in case we want to do any of the courses that you have
For
particularly done.
sure.
That's
Yes.
that's amazing. So, there's a very interesting question. You said that human beings have an intrinsic telepathic ability, but the question says that can I learn this ability? So is it always intrinsic, or can you actually hone it and work on it and become better at
Of
it?
course, yes, of course, you need to work on it. As I mentioned, it's like a friend you want to get in touch with. Suddenly,
Yeah,
that friend calls you, and you're like, "Oh my God, this was just telepathy. I was going to get in touch with you."
yeah,
So you
absolutely.
already have that ability. Of course, through courses and through communicating with animals and nature, you get to work on it. So it becomes a skill eventually. So definitely, each one of us can do this. So there's no barrier. It's the human barrier. It's that you just have to be open and accept.
So, if you had to dole out one advice to people, the attendees and me and everybody else, on how do we go about treating not just our pets, but also, our stray animals, and all of them can be communicated with, right? So, if you had to give one advice to everyone out there in terms of how we treat nature and, how we try to communicate with it, what would it be and why?
So first thing, I guess, I mean, now because of this pandemic, I'm sure our trips have been, we can't go on trips that often, but usually it just happens that, for instance, you go to the beach. First thing you want to do is just get your mobile phone on and, click pictures. Instead of that, just take it in. Try to see what that, if you're watching a sunset, take it in, and then maybe click 1,000 pictures. While you are watching the sunset, you will realize that there's some kind of interaction happening with nature and you. Or even a dog, even a street dog, if he's barking at you, just try to just be there and understand. Maybe he wants something, he wants you to know something. It's just about being patient and calm. There's something called as grounding. I don't know if all of you all know about it. It's about grounding is so because we wear shoes and slippers, and there's a we have a base when we walk.
Yes,
So
yes.
there's less connectivity with the earth
Okay,
because we're wearing shoes all the time.
okay.
So try just walking on the lawn just for like 10 minutes and you will feel so relaxed. Or even on the beach, if you just walk and after a point you just feel that, oh my God, I just want to be here. So that is because your body is getting attuned to nature. It's balancing with nature. So I guess, I mean, these are techniques. Y'all can also Google and find out there are techniques for grounding. It's about just staying calm and peaceful and just accepting what is there right in front of you, instead of grabbing, or instead of trying to fight it out and saying that I want it.
Yeah, yeah, absolutely. That's true.
Yeah.
One final question, which has also interestingly been the most upvoted questions, which essentially means that most people want to know this. So the question goes: do dogs ever want to lead the human life?
Okay.
So in your telepathic conversations with probably your clients, have you ever felt like they wanted to lead the human life?
So basically, dogs or even any animal, they don't have any demands, quite frankly. So
Okay,
even to want to lead something, they're just happy to be where they are. All they want to do is sort out the human who's with them.
that's
Or
very true.
it's really they're so giving that I should ask a dog this question actually. I've never asked any animal this question.
When
Maybe I'll
people
get
ask me that question, what do you want to be in your next life, if there is any such thing as next life, I tell them I want to be a Fauji ka kutta. So, because I'll get a lot of good food. So, but I'm sure you should ask the dog that question.
or I
Uh,
think I should.
yes, and possibly I'll get in touch with you to understand from you what the dog
Yeah.
said. So, thank you so much, ma'am, for connecting with us. I hope you're having a good time so far. We are exhilarated to sort of listen to you talk, and especially with something such as being a dog whisperer, because honestly for me it was completely new, and it was almost like re-establishing your connect with the nature. So next time we are on the beach, we'll be a little less into our cameras and more into the moment itself.
Sure. You're
Thank
most
you
welcome. I really enjoyed this session. Really. Thank you so much.
a lot. Thank you.
Thank you.
Have a good day.
You too.
Okay, so that was a very interesting session, and I'm going to go pet the dog outside in my colony.